The top stories: Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed calls for strong intra-BRICS economic cooperation in key sectors. And QUA, South Korea's leading development agency, reaffirms its strong commitment to Ethiopia's development. Hello and welcome to EBC World with me, Shifarao Lagaw, and thank you for watching us. Now, it is to be recalled that yesterday Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, accompanied by a ministerial delegation, arrived in Kazan, Russia for the BRICS summit. In his remarks at the 16th BRICS summit, which is taking place in Kazan, Russia, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed stated that the gathering of heads of states represents hope in the pursuit of effective multilateralism to address the pressing global challenges nations face today. The Prime Minister underscored that the newest member of the BRICS family, Ethiopia, is prepared to engage constructively in fostering a multilateralism that serves both developed and developing nations. Anchored in the principle of equity, he added that intra-BRICS trade, investment and tourism can ignite economic growth that not only benefits member states, but also serves as a model for cooperation and solidarity in addressing global challenges. Prime Minister Abiy further assured member nations of Ethiopia's unwavering commitment to actively participate in realizing group's shared vision for a brighter future, calling for the partnership between member countries to address immediate challenges and lay the groundwork for a more equitable and inclusive multilateralism. Meanwhile, on the sidelines of the BRICS summit, Prime Minister Abiy held discussions with various heads of state on multifaceted bilateral issues as well. According to the Prime Minister's social media updates, this morning, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed met with the Iranian president for a discussion on bilateral and regional issues. During their discussion, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed expressed that Ethiopia stands ready to help de-escalate tensions in the Middle East. Moving on, in his opening remarks at the 16th BRICS summit, the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, disclosed that Russia seeks to strengthen the authority of BRICS in the world, focusing on solving global and local problems. Russia has taken a very responsible approach to steering joint works of the BRICS member countries this year, Putin noted, adding that authority and influence of BRICS on the global stage is high. BRICS countries have enormous economic, scientific, demographic, and political potential, Putin added. President Putin said that it would be wrong to ignore the unprecedented interest of countries in the global south and east in strengthening contacts with BRICS. And more than 30 states have already expressed this desire in one form or another. He proposed forming a list of BRICS partner nations and including them in the final declaration at the end of the summit. He also underscored that the BRICS countries demonstrate responsibility for the state of affairs in the world, not in words, but in deeds, reaffirming commitment to further promote multilateralism for equitable global development and security. Moving to other stories, evaluation of the performance of government institutions for the first quarter of the 100-day reform and major economic plan has been held. Deputy Prime Minister Tamaskan Turuna has addressed the participants. The performance of the first quarter of the 2017 Ethiopian fiscal year was presented to the Council of Ministers and was widely discussed, Tamaskan noted. The Deputy Prime Minister recalled that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has set direction on issues that will be focused on in order to continue the results of the reform and solve the challenges encountered. In this quarter, the country has entered into a complete macroeconomic reform, and evaluation will be conducted that will fully show the changes and challenges that have been seen in this reform, Tamaskan said.
When you come to Brussels, make sure that you come and visit and see the Atomium, which is one of the main tourist attractions here. This building serves as an art exhibition, museum, and cultural center.
Perfectly in time for sunset. Look at that. Yeah.
And now moving to stories selected for detailed analysis, QUA, South Korea's leading development agency, has reaffirmed its strong commitment to Ethiopia's development. QUA Ethiopia Country Director Han Deok-cho states that the agency's dedication is evident in its support for health, education, and social integration. Goshumalisa reports.
QUA, the Republic of Korea's premier development cooperation agency, works closely with Ethiopia in a wide range of partners, including healthcare services, education, manufacturing, climate change response, and social integration. The agency conducted a workshop to introduce strategies in collaboration with Friends of Korea and volunteer host organizations to enhance volunteerism activities in Ethiopia. QUA Ethiopia Office Country Director Han Deok-cho said Korea sends volunteers to Ethiopia to share knowledge and experience.
We have a lot of activities in Ethiopia for the socio-economic development. And one of our programs is the volunteer sending programs, which is called World Friends Korea. And we are sending our Korean volunteers to encourage them to share their knowledge and skills with the host communities and host organizations, and improved enhanced friendship between Korea and Ethiopia.
Currently, we dispatch 12 volunteers here, and the areas are different between the volunteers. So education and health and like physical activity and etc. Yes, those are the main sectors.
Derek Jagerma, Director of Bilateral Cooperation at the Ministry of Finance, speaks QUA's contribution in Ethiopia.
QUA has made significant contributions to poverty reduction and supports the provision of essential social services such as the construction of schools, health facilities, water points, infrastructure, including irrigation dam. Its support for rural development, water and sanitation are exemplary. QUA has dispatched many junior and senior volunteers to various government offices like yourself to share Koreans' knowledge and experience. And I believe QUA has made great strides in this regard.
The country director reaffirmed the organization's unwavering commitment to Ethiopia's development, highlighting four major country programs aimed at bolstering the nation's progress.
We are supporting Ethiopia based on the four the critical programs. The first one is to help the country acquire manufacturing capabilities. We are actively supporting this program through the various projects like dairy development project and Tibet, and helping the startups start their businesses and so on. And the second program, we address the healthcare challenges. And the third program aims to help Ethiopia to adapt to climate change, and a lot of the rising temperatures and erratic rainfalls and floods and droughts. Desertification affects the country, so we are working to restore the forests and restore the soil facilities and so on.
In the fourth key area, QUA is supporting social integration by addressing the needs of IDPs and promoting social development through programs that combat gender-based violence, the country director noted.
The Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Addis Ababa has held a seminar themed New Opportunities for China-Ethiopia Cooperation in the Joint Pursuit of Modernization. Speaking on the occasion, Vice Minister of Education of China, Wu Yan, reiterated that China appreciates Ethiopia's economic development achieved over the past couple of years. Tigustarnisa reports.
Ethiopia and China enjoy long-standing historic relations. The two countries established formal diplomatic relations in 1970 and marked the 50th anniversary of the establishment of their diplomatic ties in 2020. Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Addis Ababa has held a seminar themed New Opportunities for China-Ethiopia Cooperation in the Joint Pursuit of Modernization. Speaking on the occasion, Vice Minister of Education of China, Wu Yan, reiterated that China lauds Ethiopia's economic development achieved over the past couple of years.
的朋友向我们的繁荣党来进行通报。
In order to bring our bilateral ties to a new height and entrusted by the CPC, this time I lead the CPC delegation to Ethiopia, and we also visited the headquarters of the PP in order to brief you, our dear friends, on the most important parts of the third plenary session of the 20th CPC Central Committee.
中国对国际形势有一个看法，一个楷模和榜样。
China always appreciates the development gained by Ethiopia, and we believe that Ethiopia has set a fine example for other African countries to realize independent and autonomous development.
我们都注意到，近年来
Over the years, under the leadership of Prime Minister Abiy, Ethiopia has withstood the pressure of outside world and has forged ahead to realize sustainable social and economic development. This morning, I had honor to hold a talk with Deputy Chairman Adam, and he told me that Ethiopia has gained at around 7 to 8% annual economic growth over the past few years. This is also very unprecedented in the world.
我们支持埃塞
State Minister of Public and International Department at Prosperity Party of Ethiopia, Tasfahun Gobeze, for his part stated that after 50 years of ever-growing bilateral relations of Ethiopia and China, he says based on mutual benefit and respect, the two countries are still enjoying multifaceted areas of cooperation.
Ethiopia appreciates the firm stand of China to the principles of territorial integrity and sovereignty. Let me draw one experience from past history. In the 1930s, when Italy invaded Ethiopia and tries to colonize, it was only China. China was one of the few countries that stood in opposition to the aggression and to the colonial interests of Italy. Likewise, my country has also continued in the strong support of one China policy since the start of our diplomatic relations. Ethiopia's full support and mobilization of African countries to China's bid for a permanent seat in the United Nations was one of such examples. After 50 years of ever-growing bilateral relations based on mutual respect and mutual benefit, Ethiopia is China's major source of import, foreign direct investment. China is Ethiopia's major source of import, foreign direct investment, foreign labor, and contractors. Many Ethiopians have studied and are studying in China, including our former president.
The relationship between Ethiopia and China elevated to a higher level of comprehensive strategic partnership, giving their diplomatic ties a huge boost and paved the way for an even greater political, diplomatic, economic, and people-to-people exchange and connectivity between the two nations.
And finally, the Alliance of Biodiversity and the International Center for Tropical Agriculture, Climate Change and Adaptation scientist Sentayo Alamayo says a platform that provides near real-time information on water and pasture availability in lowland areas of Ethiopia is put in place. A workshop has been held in Addis Ababa on harnessing decision support system for anticipatory action to strengthen resilience of pastoral communities in Ethiopia's lowlands, recognizing the vulnerability of pastoral communities to climate change. Shagamato has more on that.
The Alliance of Biodiversity International and International Center for Tropical Agriculture, the Ethiopian Institute of Agriculture Research and other stakeholders organized a workshop on harnessing decision support systems for anticipatory action to strengthen resilience of pastoral communities in Ethiopia's lowlands. Talking to EBC climate change and adaptation scientist at Alliance of Biodiversity and the SEA, Sentayo Alamayo said that a platform that provides near real-time information on water and pasture availability in Borana region is being implemented.
Currently, we are implementing a project called Livestock Water Source Monitoring and Forecasting in Borana with the specific, but we are also implementing this in Somalia region of Ethiopia. So the overall objective of this project is to provide water availability in terms of volume, evaporation, and also forecast the water for the coming what we call 10 to 3 to 6 months, what we call sub-seasonal and seasonal forecast. So when we talk about pastoralists, we are talking about livestock. So livestock need water and pasture. So in the pastoral area, rangeland is what has been practiced, natural grazing what has been practiced. So we combined water and range, that way we call rangeland monitoring disease support system tool. So the pasture, we can able to predict what pasture availability as we speak on real-time basis.
Alamayo also highlighted that the platform is vital to forecast drought and help stakeholders to intervene ahead of disasters.
Platform is it's a new in kind. It has never been really institutionalized at the government level. But drought has been recurrent in Ethiopia and Horn of Africa specifically. But it has been managed traditionally. But this platform has a capability to predict ahead of a drought. So you see several stakeholders, call it humanitarian, UN agencies, even government institutions. Lately they have been intervening in emergency intervention to be able to provide water, pasture, which is cut and carry on. But this product, this platform can inform them ahead of the disaster so that this stakeholder can go and make timely intervention to improve the resilience of the pastoral community.
The director at Pastoral and Agro-Pastoral Research of the Ethiopian Institute of Agriculture Research, Tekle Yohannes Brahanu, for his part commended the role of stakeholders and said his institute is working to promote a lot of livestock and crop technologies in pastoral areas in collaboration with other stakeholders.
With the Ministry of Irrigation in Lowland, we have a project which is called the Lowland Resilient Project. Through that project, we have promoted a lot of crop, livestock technologies to our pastoral and agro-pastoral people in the different regions. So through this, there are a lot of pastorals who have got livelihood change through adoption of a lot of crop, livestock technologies.
The workshop brought together stakeholders to explore the role of the system to provide actionable early warning information for early action to reduce the humanitarian impacts of a forecast hazard before it occurs.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching EBC World. Now, a quick recap of the top stories. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed calls for strong intra-BRICS economic cooperation in key sectors. And South Korea's leading development agency, QUA, reaffirms its strong commitment to Ethiopia's development. Well, viewers, that's all the news there is for now. Thanks a lot for watching us.